Former England cricketer Sir Ian Botham says he's going to donate 10,000 pheasants and partridges that are shot on his estates to food banks. It's part of a scheme from the Country Food Trust to make meals out of game birds shot for sport. Now, the sport itself, of course, remains controversial. More than 120,000 people signed a petition calling for grouse shooting to be banned last year. Let's talk to Sir Ian now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us about the scheme, what you're aiming to do.
Well, the idea is that according to information that we've received and which is readily available to everybody, there are a lot of people out there who are struggling and a lot of people out there who can't get a proper square meal. So our idea and our plan is to donate 10,000 birds and pay for the processing, and we'd like to produce out of that. You'll have a pheasant with vegetables, a casserole, and a partridge curry. And everybody that buys one of these, for everyone that's bought, we will donate one to the homeless.
Ah, OK. So you've got a kind of combined sort of commercial scheme, charitable scheme sitting side by side.
Well, I wouldn't say commercial, would you? We're actually saying that you buy one, we give one.
Okay.
So it's costing us about £40,000 a year.
OK. What would happen to these birds otherwise?
How do you mean?
Well, the birds that are being donated...
There they go. Most of them go to abroad, to Europe. It's very popular in the... according to the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, which in September 2016 actually said that that there are as many as 14 million people in the UK, which is what we're focusing on, who are going without. And what we're trying to do is give back. We shoot the birds, we rear the birds, we shoot the birds. The birds have a normal life. They can live they're normal. We don't shoot every single bird we raise, believe me, nowhere near it.
Well, I know, and in fact, that's where I think a lot of people perhaps have some trouble with the whole idea of shooting as a sport. If I can just say, we know that millions of birds, up to 50 million birds, are bred each year to be shot as a sport.
How many chickens are bred every year?
No, I'm just asking this question because that's what we're talking about, if I may. And you may
ask the question, but the question also is how many chickens are bred with a 6-week life?
Yeah, I think it's the shooting for sport that some people have an issue with.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the issue?
Well, I think perhaps some people find it hard to get their heads around killing animals for sport.
Well, look, you enjoy walking in the countryside, you enjoy seeing the countryside, you enjoy seeing the rivers, you enjoy seeing everything that goes on. If you don't look after whether it's a grouse moor or it's the countryside, if you don't look after these things, they disintegrate, they die, and you won't see anything.
Mm-hmm. And I've read that argument, and I've read certainly the research that supports that. I've also read animal rights groups saying actually the conditions in which these birds are kept are appalling. They carry diseases which can be transmitted into the countryside.
Are you talking about pheasants and partridge?
They also the issue of peppering the countryside. If I can, I'll finish and then I'll let you go. Is that okay?
Okay.
Can we work it like that? And the issue of peppering lead shot into the countryside is also one that people have a problem with. Over to you.
Well, the thing is, look, at the end of the day, we are here trying to help up to 14 million people in this country who go without a proper feed. And every single one that's bought by the public, we will donate one. So why don't you see what your problem is with that?
I'm not saying I have a problem with it. I'm just discussing the issue with you.
Well, okay, what's the issue?
Well, as I've raised it, there's also an issue around grouse shooting. Obviously, we're approaching the glorious...
No, that was defeated if you remember, there was a petition that went to the House, went to Parliament, and was... well, I think you might find that people involved were called... they weren't telling the truth.
OK, so just to, again, clarify on this one, the connection with, for example, grouse shooting and...
there is no connection with grouse shooting.
Hang on, can I just finish, Mr. Botham? I'm really sorry, because then otherwise people don't know what we're talking about. Otherwise people would...
Wrong. You are wrong. There's nothing to do with grouse.
OK,
this is about pheasant and partridge. Pheasant casserole and partridge curry, which we are giving. Now, if you have a better solution, I'm ready to hear it. But at the moment... Where's grouse come into this equation?
Right, grouse comes into the equation because it's part of the shooting game birds as a sport industry, and this is what a lot of people have been talking about surrounding this issue.
People.
And I just want to know whether you would deny that there is any connection, for example, between grouse shooting and the decimation of the hen harrier population. Are you saying that there is no connection?
You are so wrong. You must stop listening to people like Chris Packham, because their facts are wrong, and they were told that when they went to the Houses of Parliament. So look, do me a favour, and actually let's talk about what we're talking about. I've come on here to promote something that we feel is giving back to people who are in a far worse position than you and me. And we're giving something. Now, if you've got a better solution to that, I'm willing to listen to it. Do you have a better solution?
It's not up to me to come up with solutions.
Morning, Ian.
You're making a few very, very, very pungent points there.
Morning, Ian. Can I just say, it sounds like a fantastic scheme for feeding people. It's Nicky here.
Thank
How
you.
are you? Good morning.
Let
me ask you. Let me just ask you something. There's a lot of, because you're a huntsman, you might condemn this. Many people will say, hopefully he will condemn this because there is shooting and there's shooting. But there's a lot of fury at the moment about, species in decline, trophy hunting. You're a huntsman. Can you
shooting tame lions and things? I think it's appalling.
Yeah, it is. Can you understand, and I'm sure you condemn it, can you understand the thrill that these rich Americans and rich Russians have? I mean, if I saw a lion in the bush, I'd want to photograph this majestic animal. Can you understand the thrill that these rich people have?
That's what I do. And
I'm talking about lions and elephants. Can you understand that thrill?
That's exactly what I do. I shoot them with my camera.
Yeah.
And there's stuff going out, and I'm putting a book together at the moment with my life in Africa,
Brilliant.
where I spent some time. And I am totally opposed to cage shooting, it's called. And what happens is these rich people come along and they shoot a lion that's come out of a zoo, and it's probably about X number of years old, and they semi-drug it, and out it goes, and they go and shoot it. They're big, brave boys. Now, I'm totally opposed to that, and everybody in the shooting fraternity that I know is opposed to that.
Yeah.
Right, and we think it's appalling. I think it's appalling, and I have nothing to do with that. My point is that the object of this whole exercise is to donate for everyone that buys one of these foods, which is a casserole, a pheasant, or a partridge curry. For everyone that's bought, we will then donate one back. We're putting about £40,000 into this project of our own money, and we're donating 10,000 birds. Now, I find it very difficult to understand how that can be negative.
Can we ask you a question about the cricket?
No, I'm not here to talk about cricket.
Okay, that's fine.
No, you came with an agenda.
No.
I don't
have an agenda, but it's it's imperative of us to kind of ask questions around broad issues.
Okay,
and that's what we do.
Issue.
And I don't think, in fairness, Ian Botham, I don't think anyone's sort of not giving you the chance to say your piece. So if there's anything more you want to say,
yes. So what I'd like to say is, what are you doing for those 14 million people?
My job as a journalist to ask questions.
You're correct. Your job as a journalist. Yeah, I understand that. My point is that we are actually trying to make an effort and make a difference. And negativity such as your question has got nothing to do with grouse shooting, which was thrown out of Parliament, which you failed to mention. And my point is, the Joseph Rowntree Foundation in September 2016 said as many as 14 million people are living in poverty in the UK, which I think is disgraceful in itself. But the point is that we're offering nutritious pheasant casseroles and partridge curries. I think we're making an effort. Do you not agree?
Not for me to agree or disagree, but thank you very much for your time.
No, but you can be very opinionated, can't you? Thank you very much.
Can't we all?
Yeah. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Sir Ian Botham.
He's got good value, isn't he?